Back here on Hawks Sports Talk, we'll move to our players segment as we have the center fielder from the baseball team, the junior out of Danbury, Connecticut, and Chris Deldebbio, and had a big weekend this past weekend, despite the fact that the team struggled against the Riverhawks of UMass Lowell. You were providing the offense for the Hartford Hawks, 7 RBIs last week against Rhode Island and UMass Lowell, and then able to combine that with 7 hits. And apparently you were just seeing the ball pretty big, and you hit a couple big home runs in that Rhode Island game that gave you guys the momentum. Just talk about how you guys were down by 6 runs, then all of a sudden you come up and deliver a big home run, and you guys eventually cut the lead in half, and then you hit another home run to pull within 1. What is it like in the dugout when you guys were down by 6? You had to say, here we go again.
Yeah, it was definitely more of an, I wouldn't say negative atmosphere, but it was kind of like, oh, man, like, here we go. And then I hit the first one, and I think in the dugout, the atmosphere is kind of jolted a little bit. We're like, all right, we got this. Like, we got a shot now. And then I hit the second one, and it was like, all right, now we got the wheels moving. We got this. And after that, I think everybody knew we were going to win that ball game, regardless of what they did in the top half of the ninth. And we just had a lot of confidence going in the field. And then once we got our bats up again, it was a wrap.
Now, on the weekend, you kind of entered into what was, I guess, a must-win series against UMass Lowell, and then things didn't pan out that way, so you guys have put yourself in a big predicament. So after that series was over, what did Coach say to you guys? I mean, you technically aren't out of the element to make the postseason, but you've made things a little more difficult, which I guess you can learn from.
Big learning opportunity for us have a lot of young guys on the squad. But Coach basically said, hey, we're just digging ourselves a deeper hole, but we still can make the playoffs, and we just got to work hard next weekend against Stony Brook and scratch a few wins there and hopefully move on to our last in-conference series against UMBC at their place. So if we can scratch a few against Stony Brook and then take a series from UMBC, I think things are looking positive just because of how much of a train wreck the America East is down there in the middle.
Well, we're here on Hawks Sports Talk in our player segment. We're sitting down with the center fielder from the baseball team and Chris Deldebbio, junior from Danbury. And this has been, kind of an up and down season. I feel like your record isn't indicative of how the team has been playing. You guys have dropped a couple of really close ball games, and I felt like, and the coaches said prior to the season, that your junior class was really going to be the pivotal part to seeing how this team was moving forward. I don't know if he expressed that to you guys. You overheard him in some interviews with me, but did you feel like there was some added pressure coming into this season, especially from the 31-plus win season that you guys had last year?
I don't think there was too much pressure. We kind of assumed the position as juniors. We had 3 seniors who were doing a great job helping us lead, but after we're losing as much as we did last year, we knew that we had to step up, and it wasn't a pressure thing. It was more of just you're assuming the position. And I think guys mentally took that very well. But we just need a little more here and there to finish out these ball games because we're only losing by 1. And, I mean, I can't count the number of 1-run games we've lost in conference this season, but it's probably up there with 4 or 5. And it just comes down to finishing ball games offensively, defensively, and with pitching.
I always see in whatever sport it is, a lot of teams – either play up to their opponent or down to their opponent. It took me a while. I've been broadcasting, close to 10 years now, and I always thought that the coach, whatever sport's saying, we just need to play our brand of ball was kind of just a pushover question, a pushover answer, I should say. And it finally, the past couple of years, has resonated with me. If you actually just play your style of play, then you don't go up or down to your competition. So this weekend, let's get a preview of Stony Brook and Hartford. Obviously, they're sitting atop of the conference. They're clicking on all cylinders right now, and you guys are kind of coming in limping just a little bit. What is it going to take to make sure that you guys get a series win, which you much need?
I think that's going to come down to getting our team to fire on all cylinders. We've had games where hitting's on point and the pitching kind of shaky a little bit, and then we've had other games where pitching is lights out and hitting just doesn't bring enough to the table. And if we can get all the parties to work together and come together at the same time this weekend, I think that we're going to be a pretty lethal team to deal with coming down the stretch.
From a leader standpoint, what do you do off the field that kind of, I guess, builds the camaraderie and the chemistry with your team? And then, when it comes game time, what are you doing as a leader to kind of make sure that things are staying collectively glued together in the dugout?
I think off the field, it's kind of making sure that we can identify the problems and being open about them, not talking behind each other's back, kind of saying, hey, this is where we're screwing up right now, and we need to be better. You need to be better, you need to be better, I need to be better. And I think that's just a huge part of being open about what our problems are and attacking them outwardly. And what was the second part?
And then when it comes game time?
Just doing the job. We can talk about it all we want. We can strategize all we want. But when it comes down to it, it's getting the job done, doing it at that time, having a guy step up in certain innings, certain situations, and just going from there.
We're here on Hawk Sports Talk. We're sitting down with the center fielder, Chris Deldebbio, the junior from Danbury, part of the baseball team here at the University of Hartford. They have a big week coming up. They'll play in-state rival Quinnipiac, as well as a big series against Stony Brook over the weekend. They'll return home next week for Northeastern, and then they're on the road for quite some time, and then they'll play their final home game on May 12th against in-state rival, the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State. So now that your season is essentially on its descent, you guys have about 11 games remaining in the regular season, and if you can catch fire at the right time, you'll play a little bit extra into the postseason. Coming in, I bet you probably came up with a little bit of personal goals and kind of team goals coming into this year, but at this point right now, at this juncture, how would you feel like your junior year is going on, and then what does the future look like for you going into your senior year next year?
For us as a team, I think goals before the season were make the playoffs, win the playoffs, make it to a regional, and I think those are still the goals. I think we still have a very good shot at making the playoffs if we play to our potential, and then once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. I think Binghamton showed that last year, that you don't need to be the best team to win the championship.
Yeah, they came out of nowhere.
And as long as you make the playoffs, you're good. And literally anything can happen, any scenarios can happen. So I think our goal is still make the playoffs and then win the championship. And then going into the future, I can't really think too far ahead of the future just because we got the goal ahead of us right now, and that's what we're worrying about.
Great analogy is never put the cart before the horse.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, best of luck this week, and especially down in Stony Brook, and make sure that this conversation, you kind of resonate with the boys, and just stay focused. And, they're the top team in the league in Stony Brook, but as long as, like you said, you stick together and find that chemistry, you guys should be able to get a series win.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. That's the junior center fielder from the baseball team, and Chris Deldebbio. We'll take a break. When we come on back, we'll return with the fourth quarter as we take a sneak peek at the week ahead for Hartford Athletics. This is Hawk Sports Talk on 91.3 FM, WWH.